The nurse at the reception desk looked at my wife, then at me, then back at my wife, and her professional smile wavered for just a second before she said, "So, water broke during a grooming appointment? My name is Ben. I'm 32 years old, and 5 years ago I became a father in the most chaotic, embarrassing, and oddly hilarious way possible, leaving my wife with what the delivery room staff would later call the most memorable landing strip they'd ever seen. Let me back up. My wife Emma and I got married when she was 6 months pregnant. It wasn't a shotgun wedding or anything dramatic. We'd been together for 3 years, engaged for 1, and had simply decided that a small courthouse ceremony made more sense than waiting until after the baby arrived to do the big celebration we'd been planning. Pregnancy, as I quickly learned, comes with 1,000 small indignities that no one really talks about. Sure, everyone mentions morning sickness and swollen ankles and weird cravings, but nobody prepares you for the practical logistics of basic grooming when you can't see or reach half your body. Around 7 months in, Emma couldn't see her feet anymore. By 8 months, putting on socks required a level of acrobatic flexibility that simply wasn't possible with a basketball-sized belly in the way, which is how I became my wife's personal grooming assistant. Look, I know how that sounds, but I promise this was purely functional. Emma has always been particular about staying well-groomed. Not for me, but for herself. It made her feel more comfortable, more like herself, especially during a time when her body felt like it belonged to someone else. So I learned to shave her legs. Then, when things got really unwieldy, I learned to help with the more delicate areas. It became part of our routine. Every week or so, Emma would say, "I need a trim," and I'd grab the electric trimmer, and we'd handle it like any other household chore. She'd stand in the bathroom, I'd kneel with the trimmer, and we'd chat about baby names or nursery colors while I carefully maintained what she called basic human dignity. The system worked. It was weird at first, I won't lie, but after the 3rd or 4th time, it became as mundane as helping her put on shoes. Until the incident. We were at 38 weeks and 4 days. Emma was officially in the any day now zone, though her doctor had said first babies often go late, so we weren't on high alert. We'd finished the nursery, packed the hospital bag, which was sitting by the front door, ready to grab, and were basically in waiting mode. On this particular Saturday morning, Emma emerged from the bedroom wearing one of my oversized t-shirts and announced, "I need a full grooming session. I'm not going into labor looking like I'm smuggling a small animal." I laughed. "You look beautiful. No one in the delivery room is going to care. I'll care. I already can't control when I pee, when I sneeze, or whether I can see my own feet, or the fact that my belly button has turned inside out. The least I can do is not have a full Amazon rainforest situation happening down there." Fair enough. So I set up our usual station. Emma stood in the middle of the bathroom, which gave her something to brace against if she needed it. I sat on the closed toilet lid with the electric trimmer, a towel across my lap to catch the trimmings, and a small mirror positioned so I could actually see what I was doing without asking Emma to do gymnastics. I started with her legs, left leg first, then right, carefully working my way up. Emma chatted the whole time about whether we'd packed enough newborn diapers and whether the car seat was installed correctly. I'd watched 17 YouTube videos. "You're getting really good at this," Emma said as I finished her second leg. "Maybe you should add it to your LinkedIn. Skilled in spousal grooming services. I'm sure that would go over great at work. Tell us about your special skills, Ben." "Well, I can shave my pregnant wife's legs blindfolded now." We were both laughing when Emma suddenly gasped, froze and said, "Oh no. What? Did I nick you?" "No, I achoo." The sneeze was vigorous. And as I'd learned over the past month, vigorous sneezes during late pregnancy came with consequences. Warm liquid splashed onto my head and shoulders. I yelped. Emma, mortified, started apologizing profusely while also laughing. "I'm so sorry. I can't control it. Every sneeze is a surprise." I grabbed the towel from my lap and wiped my face and hair. "It's fine. This is like the 4th time this week. I'm basically immune to pregnancy pee at this point." "You're a saint." "I'm a man who made a vow. For better or worse, in sickness and health, and apparently through involuntary urination. Emma was still giggling as I tossed the towel aside and picked up the trimmer again. Okay, legs are done. Ready for phase 2. She nodded, repositioning herself for better access. I'd learned that the best angle was for Emma to stand with her legs shoulder-width apart while I sat directly in front of her, working with the trimmer like I was detailing a car. Not sexy, not intimate, just precise. I started on the right side, working carefully. The electric trimmer was fairly forgiving, not like a razor that could nick skin, but I still took my time. Emma was talking about something her sister had texted about baby clothes when I finished the right side and moved to start on the left. Okay, this side is looking good, I said, focused on my work. Almost done. Emma went completely still. Not the holding position still, but something is very wrong still. Ben. Her voice had changed. All the lightness was gone. I looked up. What's wrong? I just felt something really weird. Weird how? Like. Before I could finish the sentence, there was a sensation like a water balloon popping, and suddenly I was drenched. Not a little splash. Not a trickle. A full-on deluge of warm liquid absolutely soaking my face, chest, and lap. I sputtered, shocked, as Emma screamed, "My water! My water just broke." We both froze for about 3 seconds. Me sitting there soaked and holding a trimmer, Emma standing over me with her hands on her belly, both of us wide-eyed. Then we both started screaming. Oh my God! It's happening! Why is there so much? Is this normal? I don't know, you're the pregnant one. I jumped up, slipping slightly on the now wet bathroom floor. The trimmer fell from my hand and clattered into the sink. Emma was breathing hard, staring at the puddle on the floor and then at me, still absolutely drenched. Hospital, I said, my brain finally catching up. We need to go to the hospital. I need pants, Emma said. Right, pants. I looked down at my soaked clothes. I need everything. Okay, new plan. You get pants. I'll shower really fast. There's no time for a shower. Emma, I'm covered in amniotic fluid. I can't go to the hospital like this. Then rinse off and change. Fast. I ran to the shower, turned it on full blast cold because I didn't have time to wait for warm water, and stood under it fully clothed for approximately 15 seconds before jumping out, stripping, and throwing on the first clothes I could find. Sweatpants and a t-shirt that said "World's Okayest Dad," that my brother had bought me as a joke. Emma had managed to put on maternity leggings and was now breathing heavily, one hand on the doorframe. Are you having contractions? I asked, shoving my feet into shoes. I don't know. Maybe. Everything feels weird. I grabbed the hospital bag from by the front door, my keys, my wallet, and Emma's phone. Okay, let's go. Can you walk? I can walk. I'm not broken. We made it to the car. I helped Emma into the passenger seat, threw the bag in the back, and climbed into the driver's seat with my hair still dripping. I started the car and pulled out of the driveway with what I thought was reasonable urgency. Emma immediately said, "Drive faster. I'm going the speed limit. Our son is coming. This is not a speed limit situation. I'm not getting pulled over while you're in labor. Then drive normally but urgently." I have no idea what normally but urgently means, but I did my best. The hospital was 15 minutes away. In those 15 minutes, Emma went through what I now know were early contractions. She'd grip the door handle, breathe hard, and make sounds that made me want to drive off the road directly to the emergency room entrance. Are you okay? Do you need me to pull over? Just drive. I drove. We pulled into the hospital parking lot, and I jumped out to grab a wheelchair from the entrance. A nurse saw us coming and immediately went into professional mode, getting Emma checked in while I stood there with wet hair, wearing a World's Okayest Dad shirt, holding a hospital bag and trying to remember how to breathe. They got Emma into a room quickly. The nurse helped her into a gown and started checking her vitals while asking questions about when her water broke and whether she'd been having contractions. My water broke about 20 minutes ago, Emma said. At home. Yes, during. She glanced at me. During a grooming appointment. The nurse nodded professionally, like this was completely normal information. And contractions? I think so, Everything hurts, but I don't know if it's contractions or just panic. They checked her cervix. 4 centimeters dilated. You're definitely in labor, the nurse confirmed. Baby's coming today. The next few hours were a blur of monitoring, breathing exercises, Emma squeezing my hand hard enough to cut off circulation, and medical staff coming in and out to check progress. At one point, the OBGYN came in to check on Emma. She was a no-nonsense woman in her 50s who we'd seen throughout the pregnancy. She examined Emma, checked the monitors, and then paused. Everything looks good, she said. Baby's in position. Heart rate is strong. Then she looked at Emma with an expression I couldn't quite read. I do have one question, though. What? Emma asked nervously. Did you start grooming for delivery and not finish? Emma's face turned bright red. My water broke midway through. The doctor looked at me, then back at Emma, and I could see her trying not to smile. So you're telling me you're about to give birth with half a grooming job? Yes, Emma said miserably. The doctor finally cracked a smile. I've seen everything in this job, but this is a first. It's like a before and after photo, except the after never happened. Emma groaned. Can we please never speak of this again? Oh, this is going in my mental highlight reel, the doctor said cheerfully. Don't worry, we're all professionals here. But maybe next time, finish the grooming session before the water breaks. There's going to be a next time? Emma asked in horror. That's a conversation for later, the doctor said, patting her leg. For now, let's focus on getting this baby out. The labor progressed quickly from there. By the time we hit hour 5, Emma was fully dilated and ready to push. I won't go into all the details of the delivery because honestly, it's a blur of Emma being incredibly strong, me trying to be supportive while also not fainting, and medical staff being absolute heroes. But I will say this. Our son was born at 6:47 p.m., weighing 7 pounds 9 ounces, with a full head of dark hair and the loudest cry I've ever heard. The moment they placed him on Emma's chest, everything else. The chaos of the water breaking, the lopsided grooming situation, the panic, the rush to the hospital. All of it just melted away. Emma was crying. I was crying. Our son was crying. It was perfect. After they'd cleaned him up and Emma had delivered the placenta and gotten stitched up, the room settled into a quieter rhythm. Emma was holding our son, who had finally stopped screaming and was now just looking around with unfocused newborn eyes. The doctor came back in to check on them both. Mom and baby are doing great, she said. Good job, both of you. Thank you, Emma said, still staring at our son in wonder. The doctor grinned. And just for the record, the grooming situation provided some much-needed humor in the delivery room. The nurses are calling it the half-timer. Emma laughed weakly. Great. I'm famous for the wrong reasons. Hey, you'll have a great story for him when he's older, the doctor said, although maybe leave out some of the details. After she left, Emma looked at me. I can't believe our son was born while I had a lopsided bikini area. I can't believe my face got a direct hit when your water broke. We're a disaster. We're a team, I corrected. A very chaotic team. We stayed in the hospital for 2 days. During that time, word apparently spread among the staff about our unconventional start to labor. More than one nurse came in, saw Emma and said, "Oh, you're the grooming interrupted mom." It was mortifying and hilarious in equal measure. When we finally brought our son home, his name is Owen, by the way, Emma made me promise we would never, ever tell him the details of how he came into the world. I promised, and I kept that promise. Until Owen turned 5 this year, and at his birthday party, Emma's sister got drunk and told the entire story to anyone who would listen. Now it's family legend. Remember when Ben gave Emma a lopsided trim and then got waterboarded by amniotic fluid? Owen thinks it's the funniest thing he's ever heard. He's told all his kindergarten friends that his dad made his mom look funny when he was born, which has led to some interesting conversations with other parents. Emma has learned to laugh about it. Mostly. Last week, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary. We have 2 kids now. Owen is 5, and his little sister Zoe is 3. Over anniversary dinner, Emma brought up the grooming incident. Do you remember how panicked we were? she said, laughing. I remember thinking I was going to drown in amniotic fluid. I remember being more worried about the lopsided situation than the actual labor. You had your priorities straight. Remember what the doctor said. Nice grooming. It's like a before and after photo. We both started laughing so hard we couldn't eat. Would you do it again? Emma asked. If we had another kid? Absolutely not. Next time, you're grooming yourself or going in full Amazon jungle mode. I'm not risking another face full of water breaking. That's fair. But here's the thing. As chaotic and embarrassing and utterly ridiculous as that day was, I wouldn't change it. It's our story. It's how Owen came into the world. Announced by a sneeze pee warning and a tidal wave of amniotic fluid directly into his father's face. Sometimes I look at Owen, this amazing, funny, sweet 5-year-old, and think about how he literally made his entrance mid-grooming session, leaving his mother with the world's most lopsided bikini area and his father soaked and traumatized. And I think, yeah, that tracks. That's exactly the kind of chaos this kid would create. Parenthood is beautiful, magical, and completely unpredictable. Also, it sometimes involves getting a face full of amniotic fluid while your wife stands over you with half a grooming job. Welcome to fatherhood. TLDR. Tried to help my pregnant wife groom before baby arrived. Mid-trim, her water broke directly onto my face. Rushed to hospital. Son was born healthy a few hours later. Wife delivered with a lopsided bikini area that became hospital legend. Marriage survived. Still haven't lived it down 10 years later.